Hi, my name is Mike Bogers. This is the story of how I met my wife, Andrea. So it's a unique story in that it's actually the story of how Steve and Amanda came together. So bear with me for a second. My wife and I were both in Indianapolis, but we had never met. We never run into each other. We really probably had no reason to run into each other because I lived in one part of town and she lived in another. And so we were both just kind of wayward here and there dating and decided that we would apparently get on eHarmony. And so we did that. And anyone that's been on that kind of dating site will be able to attest to the fact that it's a little bit of wild, wild west, but eHarmony is much more controlled and interesting in that you have to really sort of earn the right to continue the conversation. And so we had conversed very sporadically, and I probably was trying to figure out which way I was going to go, and so I had sort of like disappeared for a minute, and I surfaced. I surfaced very late at night one day, and it was in a very, very long-winded email inside of the system itself that was basically like an open heart kind of conversation with Andrea. And I addressed it, as I came later to find out, to Amanda. And I wasn't speaking to anyone named Amanda, but for some reason, my 2 a.m. brain put that name in there instead of Andrea. And so she gets this message, and as she tells the story, she read it, thought it was very interesting, thought it was kind of humorous that I had called her the wrong name. But she was also, taken with the fact that I took a lot of time to put together a decent sized message, and that she thought there was a lot of really interesting things in there. And so she wrote me back pretty quickly and said, basically continue the conversation, but then said at the end, and oh, by the way, my name is Andrea. And she tells the story again, within like 10 minutes, I had responded to her and like so overly apologetic and just explaining that it was very late and I just messed it up. And I hope that she would want to continue talking to me. And, obviously we now have 3 daughters and live in a wonderful home and are a very supportive and loving family. And so I guess the ballad of Steve and Amanda continues. And the Steve part of that is I told her that she can call me Steve for as long as she wanted. So we are forever Amanda and Steve. So that's the story of how we kind of met and furthered our dialogue and our conversation and how we ended up together.